Welcome back to Baggies Out. We're here at the 2024 National Balloon Classic in Indianola, Iowa. The overalls after Flight 2 is Nick Donner in first, Brad Craig in second, and Corey Bloom in third. Richard Sabin fourth, Joe Zavada fifth, Chase Sanders sixth. For the task today, we have a lot of baggies and flying on this one, so we're actually splitting this third flight up into two videos for you. This one will cover the task 4, a fly-in, task 5, a minimum distance double drop, and task 6, a judge declared goal. And right here we're starting off with that task 4 fly-in, and this is a gravity drop.
Yeah, so with the gravity drop, you cannot throw it. You basically just hang it over the edge of the basket and let it go whenever you think is the best and get the best result. This is one of the better mornings. Definitely first morning of 2024. But as far as weather, that's about all you can ask for. You got tons of steering. Lighter winds on the surface with some speed up high, so you can definitely get some pretty good distance if you want to. So I know this morning we changed, I think one time. So we went out, let off a pie ball, kind of saw what we saw with the steering, and picked out a spot based off of that, and we ended up doing one more pie ball just to confirm that it was still there, everything was still holding, and we decided to go. We're a little bit closer than we typically would be. I believe we're like 2.5K out from the target, so especially given the speeds that were up there, definitely pretty close, but it seemed to work out for the most part. You guys went out a little bit further, I think, didn't you?
Yeah, we were chasing a spot a little bit more. We ended up in almost basically a common launch area with a lot of people, and I forget how far away it was, but I think we were only like in maybe another K away from where you launched from.
Yeah, I think we were anticipating the speeds to be a little bit slower than what they were, but that's all right.
Ruben leveling off right there, and boom, there goes his bag. 100 feet out.
Yeah, and it's so this is a little trickier than what it looks, because there's a max distance drop on this field as well, and it's actually right before this, so you'll see a lot of balloons in the background getting real low just on the other side of the hill, and they're letting their markers go down there, and then they're trying to fly up the hill to this target that we're watching now.
Well, I think the minimum distance double drop is at the following target, isn't it?
Well, so I'm talking about the maximum distance or the maximum distance drop, which is it's just on the other side of this hill. So we threw a marker down and then flew up into.
And then we had this judge. Okay.
Yep. So Grant Packer there with 70 feet. So you can see that Chase Sanders in the blue, black, white balloon there, like he's popping up out of that
hard left
drop. Yep. Yeah, nice drop for Zavada there. You see Chase is trying to get out of that left and get more right and closer to the target. tough to do sometimes.
Yeah, when there's two tasks like that, like basically right on top of each other, it can be tricky to do well on both.
Yeah, yeah. You're pretty much either going to crush the one and sacrifice a little bit on the other, or vice versa.
Yep. And with this judge declared being a gravity drop, in theory, that's going to make it a little bit more difficult. So you can expect the scores to be a little bit more spread out with the measurements. So it's probably better to try to maximize what you can out of that max drop.
Exactly. Yeah, Theo Hartman coming in. His first time at the Classic flying. And it looks like he's going to have a pretty good drop there. 40 feet.
Not bad at all. $30 for Christine.
Yeah, and this, so typically I don't like to fly low, especially from the north into this balloon field, because it tends to want to split one way or the other. And having that max drop before this kind of forces you down into that area anyways, so it's a little extra challenging, I would say.
I have definitely gotten pulled by that hill on many an occasion.
Yeah, and rarely does it ever work in your favor.
Yeah. I'm always thinking that, like, this time I'm gonna beat it, and I definitely don't.
Yeah. So you can see Ken is trying to get lower, which will pull him to the left a little bit closer to the target. Before he probably jumps back up and heads to the next target. You can see that's same with Bill Bussey in that blue balloon in the background. He's going left of the target currently, so he's trying to jump up and go more to his right to come across the target. And it looks like Johnny's going to be right on top of the X here.
Very nice.
See, Corey's just doing a nice job flying right. Got just about a foot or two off the ground, right up the hill.
See all those balloons spread out, and they're just trying to all converge right here. Even though they're spread out, they're eventually going to end up in roughly the same spot.
Yep. Yeah, and it's not too packed right now. I mean, they're close, but they're not, on top of each other. And
yep,
the Classic will get 5-6 balloons all touching, and you're trying to get into the target all together at the same time. And it's a lot of fun, but can be frustrating.
Yeah, if you're not if you're the high one, or not in the right spot, then it's just kind of you're along for the ride.
Yep. Yeah, if you're the outside balloon, it's looking in.
Yep.
Jeremy King just off the leg of the X there.
Sounded like there was a baggie coming from up high right there. Mark Harris happy with that drop.
Yeah. Got Brad Craig. You saw him just pop up. He was just doing a quick correction, looked like. Kind of doing the same thing. Everyone's getting a little bit too much left and then realizing it kind of last minute and jumping up a couple hundred, or basically 150 feet.
Trying to squeeze out a little bit more right.
Yep. Yeah, if it wasn't a gravity drop, you'd probably just hang low and just chuck it in there, but kind of changes it up a little bit when you can't throw it like that.
Yeah, gravity drops definitely even things out where it's now just wherever you fly the balloon to.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't really get the piles of baggies on the target
Yep.
with the gravity drop. So you can see the balloons in the background. They're kind of jockeying around a little bit. Richard Saban in that blue and white balloon down low on the right-hand side. He basically was probably tracking a little bit right and decided to come down, did a little bit more left. Rob Nutting is going to go right over the target. And followed up by Joey Strutz. So we got a couple guys definitely on the target there. Look at that.
Right there.
And he's excited.
Yeah. Hey, you should be with a 0.5 feet.
Yeah.
It looks like there's a little bit of ground contact back there,
Yeah.
which no big deal. You get some penalty points for it depending on how bad it is or where you are at whenever you actually contact the ground, but sometimes you come in a little too hot and that's just how it goes.
Yeah. No harm in it. Just take your penalty and move on. Hopefully
Keep on trucking.
Yeah. I think luckily he was outside the scoring area, so should be
Yeah.
the lesser of the penalties.
Yep. No. The biggest problem with that is even with the less penalty, it's sort of it jacks up your flight profile at that point where now you're fighting to get back into a groove.
Yeah. Exactly. And he recovered pretty well, so.
Yeah, I think that's good score for having to deal with that.
Have you made ground contact before?
Thankfully not.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like I should probably I need to get out and practice some more to be more aggressive. I think I end up being a little bit too cautious and staying up higher than I need to sometimes.
Right.
Rhett coming over. So you can see Rhett wearing a helmet there. So he's very nice drop by Rhett, by the way. But he's wearing a helmet because he doesn't have his upright poles in. So whenever he lands, the burner and stuff will come down on top of him. So he needs to duck down. But in case it comes down too far or he doesn't get quite down low enough, then his head's protected from the burner.
And he's mainly just practicing for Worlds at doing that, right?
I think that's a big part of it, yeah, because this is leading up to Worlds, so He's just practicing because he tends to fly flexi with no uprights out there too.
Yeah.
So get good to get in any kind of groove that you're trying to get in before the big show.
Yeah. And you can see just the difference in speed with Amanda coming across at the top with the green balloon versus those lower ones. They're just kind of creeping along.
Yep.
Nice score there by Jack. Couple baggies out.
And even though that a lot of the balloons are sort of like going right here on the surface, I feel like that's actually deceiving just because of this field, because that, like, if you come in on the right side, you tend to go right. If you come in on the left side, you tend to go left because of that hill that's right there.
Yep. I think this is Jamie Coleman up top in the round balloon, and then Joe Hartzell in the racer with the stars.
Yep. Jamie dropping from up higher. 77 feet, not bad. And Joe with a solid drop of 25 feet.
Yeah, it seems like that 20 to 30 feet range is pretty hot as far as where everybody's at.
Joey's messing up the curve though with that 0.5 feet.
Yeah, he is. He is. Eric Martin's flying the True Bank banner. And he's going to get a score of 64 feet. So here you can, here's a pretty good example. You got the two balloons on the right. You can see they're both kind of jumping up pretty quick, trying to get their way over to the target. I know that they were both probably just doing their throw at the lower part of the field there, and finally now getting into that steering. So you can see how Joey, that multicolored balloon on the backside, is already in that right turn. Looks like he's going pretty close to the target now. And it's interesting because like that's only about 150 feet changing altitude, and you can clearly see the change in direction.
A significant change from just that little bit of vertical change.
Yeah, and anytime that the Classic has that kind of steering, these targets just get pummeled.
Yep.
Every time.
Baggy coming down right there in front of the camera.
Yeah. Nice job by our camera guy of following that baggy all the way.
Yep.
And this is getting towards the later part of the flight, and that's typically when you start to see that left turn on the surface start to go away. Might start to fizzle out and not get quite as much left as you want. And you can see some of these guys are maybe just starting to get a little bit more to the right of the target.
Definitely a lot more rounds at the Classic than you see in a competition normally, I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Preston Gephardt there with 11 feet, originally out of Indianola. Jason Davis, Patreon member.
Looks like he'll have a very nice drop here.
Yeah, just off the leg of the X. 15 feet.
That's the we got Joey Struts and then Jason. That's the baggies out patron difference, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Come get that magic.
And it looks like we're
Last
down.
few balloons here.
Yeah. So you got Alex up high in the round balloon, Angelica in the racer with the smiley face. Seems like everybody loves that one.
Yep.
It's between you and Angelica.
It's the easy icons.
Yeah, exactly.
Last 3 balloons here.
We got Troy Onimus. He's out of Carlisle, so local to Indianola. He's been here flying at the Classic for probably about 4 or 5 years, maybe.
He's needing that left, but I think at this point it's not quite there as much.
Ouch. Yeah, Zach Prickett. Might be his first time at the Classic. Not sure.
So no surprise there with Joey Struts in first place on this target, Rob Nutting in second, Bill Smith in third, Brett Christian fourth, and Tom Rickey in fifth. So stay tuned now for the judge declared goal and the minimum distance double drop.
Yeah, so this target location was definitely tricky. It's a little bit lower. It's kind of in a valley, and that seemed to really amp up the surface left turn. So you'll probably see a lot of guys start to get into the left turn and realize that it's way more than they expected, and kind of maneuver back up, kind of make a correction to get closer to the target. Again, still lots of steering. So the goal here is to get the one baggie, the white baggie in the triangle area. You can kind of see it. It's on the far side of the X here. And then the red baggie on the center of the X would be preferred.
Yeah, this one was definitely tricky with that hard left right there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people knew it was going to be there. For me, I didn't realize how high it was going to be, because it was like and it looks like Landon
is already in it right there.
Yeah, you can kind of see he kind of did the same thing where it's like, all right, we need to start coming down and get this left, and then you only drop 50 feet and it's like all the left and more.
Yep. So much left, I'm not going to make it there.
Yeah. So that was his first baggie into the triangle area, and here's this the baggie for the X, 32 feet.
So in a situation like that, you really just want to get like, if you can't really aim for that triangle, just try to get something in there because now you're at least getting a valid score and you can go try to make a better throw on the next one. Right.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, because if you miss this triangle, then the whole task is thrown out for you.
Right. So it's just get something in there.
Yeah, and typically on these targets here at the Classic, what they'll do is they'll put one triangle at one X location, and then they'll put the second triangle at a different X. And so you basically have to make two different locations to get a score on that. And generally, what happens is the first triangle gets hammered, so that's the one that you want to be right close to the X in the scoring area, obviously. But and then the second one is kind of scattered, and that's the one where it's like, hey, I just need a baggie in this triangle and to get a score. Which ironically today, it's quite the opposite, where this one was scattered, the first one was scattered, and the second one was kind of drilled. So we'll see that on the second half of Flight 3's videos.
Yeah, the second triangle, that whole target just got clobbered.
Yeah.
Both the X and the triangle.
Yeah, it really did. It was like everybody finally figured out what the winds were doing and they were dialed in.
Yep. So it's kind of one of those mornings where it's like it's that gamble of being the first one where sometimes that's good, but because you get those good wins, but then sometimes you're the win dummy that has to find everything for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like Grant. He was a little higher than the others, but he was able to get that wide baggie into the triangle. It's a very similar approach so far. Everyone's kind of dipping down and then getting into that left and just kind of throwing from about 200 feet.
Yep. Not liking what they get from that left.
No, not at all.
Really had to swing out right if you wanted to get over the whole scoring area. Looks like Alan could have a pretty good line there. Looks like he had started his drop too.
Yeah, it looks like he swung out a little bit more than the rest so far. That'll be a good score for the white baggie there.
Yep.
And a pretty good score on the judge declared goal for the X.
Solid for both rows.
Yeah.
Brandon getting a lot of left already.
Yeah, and he was still trying to swing out a little bit more than the others as well.
Yep.
So probably again just didn't realize how high that left turn actually started. So normally you don't get that kind of a hook until, I mean, you're right on the trees or sometimes even the grass, you know.
Right. It's not 200 feet up. It's
yeah, it's just that last. Yeah, it's just that last little bit.
Yep. Usually you're more worried about like trying to burn off all that momentum from the other direction that you have and wanting to get into it. But here it's like as soon as you got in there, it just took you.
Yeah. So you can see Nick swung out a little bit more to the right, hung out higher a little bit, and made a quick descent right into the target. And it's definitely paying off for him now.
Yep. And looks like got Chase behind him doing the same thing. And even right there, like, it's arguably a little bit too much left than he needed.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, he's still left with the target at this point. So
Yeah, he's at least lower so he can, manage the throws a little bit more than just throwing it from up high. So
yeah.
gets really nice throws there.
So you got Chase Donner in that red, white, and black balloon. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to take the score from up high and move on to the next one. Looks like Johnny on the left-hand side of the screen.
So you can see him still sort of carrying some of that momentum, but slowly turning left. But then you have Bill Bussey up there in the top right corner that he was just hard left.
Just zooming across the screen.
Yep.
And you can see Johnny starting to go up just a little bit, trying to get out of all that left turn that he was getting, and he's going to throw back to the target. Still pretty good scores here. Nice scores.
Very nice drops.
Yeah, it's interesting because, you go from the balloon field, the target.
Corey got caught up there.
Yeah, that was no good. But you start out at the balloon field, which is basically up on a hill, and then you got to fly all the way down into here, which is in a valley. So you're getting two different surface winds. Gary Kask and Aaron Falsky with their throws.
This is where it's really nice to have the ground crews telling you what's going on, but I feel like I remember this morning being like a little bit too quick, that they just didn't really ever have a chance to get ahead of us until later on.
Yeah, it's definitely is a little quick, and actually the targets were a little close as well. So you kind of had two things working against the chase teams.
Yeah. Ed Gordon with a throw from altitude up there.
Yeah, it looks like a couple chase teams just driving on the road down below, and recognize one of those, and that pilot's definitely already passed. So
Where are you at? I'm halfway to the next target.
Yep. A good score there by Al. Here comes Joey Strutz. Let's see what he can do here. He's flying that brand new Cameron Racer. And it's always helpful when you talk to the baggie on the way down.
Yep. Joey was having a good morning today.
Yeah.
And there I am, just trying to get something.
Just get a baggie in the field. That's it.
Yep. I just wanted in that triangle, and then I was like, all right, the red bag's going towards the target, I guess.
Yeah. And you can see Aaron Gebhardt. He's definitely starting to get in that left turn now. You can see how he's moving across the screen. So it looks like he's going to level off where he's at. Doesn't want any more left. And a couple guys behind Aaron here look like they're lining up pretty good.
It looks like Paul should have a pretty good line right there. He may actually get into that left too much, just like some of the balloons earlier.
Yeah, and it's almost one of those things where it's like you can't anticipate that all the time. And
yeah, very nice throws from Paul.
Yeah,
2 feet on that judge.
and we can see Rhett's baggy here coming at 37 feet. Looks like Scott swung out a little bit to the right. Should be a pretty good throw. And Amanda in the green, silver, and blue balloon.
Very nice drops from Scott there. So when the pilots are asking if they're clear above they're checking to see if any other balloons are above them, and if they're clear to start climbing and add heat to the balloon. Nice throws from Amanda there.
Yeah.
Joe Hartzell coming in. Another throw from up high, but still great throws.
Yeah, he's I mean, even though he's a little bit higher, he's at least kind of a little bit more over the target than most of the others.
Yep.
Makes that throw just a little bit easier.
Any throw that you don't have to do the wind up is I'm happy with that throw.
Yeah. And you can see the trucks on the right-hand side there. They're some chase vehicles. So they probably skipped the field, and wherever they launched from went straight to this target, and we're able to get here just in time to see these guys come in. A lot of times they'll start to feed pilots information. Sometimes pilots want to know if there's a certain balloon at the target, above the target, if they're left or right of it. So the chase teams will start feeding back target location information. Sounds like Ron put everything he's got into that one. Got Jason Hartson out of Pella. Actually, the race director for Lake Red Rock Balloon Fest.
Getting to just play the game for this week.
Yeah. Always good to see the race directors getting some flight time.
Yep.
You got Preston Gebhardt coming in like a racer.
Hey, sometimes you got to fly those big balloons, just like just like they were a racer.
Yeah.
That's how I flew my first round balloon at my first competition. I was like, oh, I didn't know I could make mushroom shapes like this.
Yeah, those fireflies, they really pancake, especially if you're going up fast.
Yep. So our results for this target are Paul Petrin in first, Johnny Petrin in second, Amanda Broadbeck third, and Scott Armstrong fourth, Nick Donner in fifth. So we don't have results yet for the triangle task on this one. That'll come later, and whenever we get to the results from the target where the triangle is also at, and that finishes up the task. So as always, thank you to all of our patrons. We appreciate your support, and we couldn't do this without you. If you'd like to become a patron, you can head over to baggiesout.com/Patreon and sign up there.